Day 14. Little crazy, eh? It's a minute as I drop the music here. Oh, we have some awesome stuff as usual coming from the art studio today, and I'm glad that you can come and join me. And we're going to talk about brush strokes, and just one moment while I look at this panel. There we go, I had two of me. Brush strokes and environment, creating that environment. And as a creative being, design and color don't always come easy. And actually, it can be a struggle you can't turn it on. Like when I'm coming into my studio or I'm sitting upstairs thinking about what I'm going to do for tomorrow's 30-day creative challenge, I think to myself, oh, I did that today, now what? What will I bring tomorrow? And then I think, oh, I won't worry about it till tomorrow. It's in the back of my mind. And I spend anywhere from 2 to 3 hours. It's getting a little bit different now because I'm getting better at it. I'm getting more practiced at bringing my thoughts to you each day. And so therefore the more advanced, say like today, the more advanced part of the brush strokes, that's when you would come and see me for mentorship or coaching. Maybe you're already a professional artist, you're advanced in many ways. There's so much about marketing and marketing of our work as a creative person. And in this time where we have all the time at home to concentrate on our art form, here we are. And while I'm inspired to create my environment, it's just like putting on my own little festival. And I'm sure you can do this too, whether it's putting essential oils on the canvas or putting it on you, burning a smudge. In the indigenous community, we burn our sage or our cedar. And when I'm talking creative, I'm not just talking to artistic people, artists from the fine art world. Because most of the people, I want to say at least 70% who come into the art studio are creative. And what we're looking for is inspiration. And I kind of have a knack at doing that. So I share my energy with you today, and I hope you share yours with me as well. And I want to talk to you a little bit about first whoops, did that go like that? The tiger, okay? This is brush stroke. I took something and I'm going to show you, like within 5 minutes, of the importance of brush stroke. Yesterday, I talked a little bit about shading, and that's the importance. That it's almost like if you take yesterday's lesson that I did and brought to you, and then you use this one, and you practice both. It takes time, but have patience with yourself. So that's number one, and what we're going to do in a few minutes. But I also want to share with you about environment. Because, yes, I'm a leadership coach, actually more of an empowerment coach who has business partners in the John C. Maxwell team. John C. Maxwell himself, Paul Martinelli from Empowered Living, and a few others that I am growing. I am stretching. And what I mean by that is when I do my art and I think about it the very same way all the time, what happens to me is that I don't grow, and that's why you'll see bright colors like the pinks, the hot pinks and the oranges. That wasn't easy when I first started. Let's talk about when I first started. A lot of you know me and some of you don't. When back in, I want to say 2010 or 11, I lived in a basement suite. And you know what a double bed looks like. You know the space on a double bed? Okay, here we are. We're on the double bed. There's 2 feet on this side of the bed. The bed is up against the wall, and then there's no room in there because I had a little bar fridge for all my vegetables at the end of the bed. There's no room here because of the headboard, so I had 2 feet and maybe just a foot to the door. Now, I worked 9 to 5, and by the time I came home, I was exhausted. And I didn't have any motivation, and it was all I could do to inspire myself. Yep, I'm a 9 to 5er, and I would sit on the bed and I would think to myself, if I could only do my art. I would take a pencil or an eraser, and I'd sit on the bed, and I was shading one day. I thought, why aren't I painting? And all kinds of excuses came up. You know what? That Saturday, I made sure I got off my bed. I got a drop sheet, and my art studio, I am not joking, was on my bed. How many of you are doing art sitting on your bed because that's what you have? That's where I started. Oh, I could tell you stories before that, but I can remember that the time when I was doing that, I was up to my neck in bills. I got a really nice job. I was teaching what I love to do, but I was so in debt. And the one way to escape that was to create my own environment. One of my really good friends, an older friend of mine, and this is the other thing about having someone that's been there before, is their wisdom. She said to me, well, start acting like a professional artist. I didn't know what she meant. I would get dressed up like I was going to an exhibit. And better than that, I would go to a gallery, get dressed up with some friends, and make it feel like the art on the wall is my own. It took me a lot to visualize that, because at that time, my value, I couldn't. How's that supposed to work? In my way. I continued to create on that bed from the time of 2010 or 11 until 2013, when I moved into an actual apartment. Remember basement suite, now I got apartment. The living room was so much bigger than my bed. And I had a spare room to pour my resin. I was so excited. You know what? I was given all that room, and I still made an excuse. I wasn't valuing me. I was coming up with excuses like, who's gonna buy my work? Who's gonna even look at it? Like I'm not good enough. I caught myself. Now that was before mindset, limiting self-beliefs even came into my life. I stopped doing that. I just started with my plaster and my masks and pushed myself. I pushed myself. Every day after work, I did something. Oh, it was a far cry from sitting on that bed with the plastic underneath me, reaching over here, washing my brushes in the water and all my paints. I had it on that double bed. Now I had a full carpeted living room, which I draped. And the whole time I dreamed in a living room. I started a gallery wall of my paintings. People would come and visit and say, oh my God, I love that. You should have your work in a gallery. And then I started to dream further. In 2015, I have my art studio. Because I started to act in my whole persona, add to my belief. Environment means everything. It means the people that support you, because there were some people who were saying like, yeah, you're really, that is awesome. I'll help you. And then there was someone like, you're crazy. Like, what you been on? I want some. Law of environment. Now for the brush stroke. One more thought before I go into the art. Here's a thought. We become the average of the 5 people we hang around the most, by Jim Rohn. 5 people. Who are the top 5 people that hang around you? Are they loving? Are they encouraging? Are they skilled enough to give you feedback? Are they emotionally strong to give you the honest feedback and loving that you need? Are they business partners? So important in the art world. Think about that, because I sure did. It got me going. Okay, now what I want to do is I'm going to bring the camera and we're going to look at what brush strokes and how they're important. Bear with me, because what I have here is a studio. If you also are on, I'd like to see your comments. You may have to allow eCam, but drop your comments down below, okay? I'll look up and I'll try to answer them. If not, when I get off. You like my lead? Oh, and the mask. Sometimes I'm in here rocking out to different things because I'm embodying, oh, right now we need color. Spring's coming. Okay, I'm going to switch the camera over to my iPhone. All right. I wanted this close up, as close as I could possibly get it, because there's a technique, and you'll see the full version when I post it of what I did. I like to the background, as I said yesterday, is really important. Whether you're designing on it, whether you're learning the brush strokes. Brush strokes make all the difference. And I thought I would take you through a full demonstration, and then again, I also value your time, but I'm giving you a tip, and that tip is, literally move this here. I like this brush because it's all weathered, and I've done some stippling with it. When I go to do my work, you'll see the brush strokes. In order to make this look real, 3D, when we do brush strokes, it brings the item alive. When we do a solid color, it flattens it. It makes it more abstract, right? So, as I'm looking at, let me give you an example. Okay, so I'm going to dip the brush here. I do that, right? And take that, and I take off the excess. And I'm going to move this over. I've got my plug-in right there. No matter. And if you can see me, what I do is I drag this brush and I just flick it. As I'm looking at the direction of the tiger's fur, if you notice on the caption that I'm showing you, and you watch, the fur goes this way in this direction. That's important too. When you do a solid one and there's no motion, even our eyes tell us what's true. So as a solid black, you're still doing a movement like this. And you notice under the eyes that it's like this all the way around. It's the same thing for the eye. When I did the eye, I did white first, and then I did a little bit of yellow, and being careful that the orange that I use isn't the bright orange but mixed with some brown. Just a tad, because our eyes tell us this is a brilliant orange, and it's not. I'll show you the difference. Here's the bright orange. No mixing, okay? And I'm just going to do an example here for you of why. Okay, flicking. You don't want it to batch up like that, but I'm giving you an example of already you see the difference between here, but just barely to this brown here. And then you look at the picture and you see that there are two tones and they're just slight. But the brush will fix that for you. Going down here, you see how dry that is? I don't mind it being that dry because I can always go back and add to it. And that's pretty much the secret to a really, really good painting, is that the brush stroke is really, really important. And it's the same thing with, we're just doing the tiger on the black background. I'm just mixing an orange here so that I can show you a few more brush strokes before I leave today. And see that that's too thick. But if you drop it down there and it's too thick, you can just smudge it. This is where it becomes great to smudge your work. Back in the day, oh, do we gotta watch your smudges? No. Actually, what you're doing with this is, with your brush, is you're using your brush and you're actually doing a blot. What I tell my students is it's like smudging. That's what it's like to me. And following the direction of the fur all the way, and just take your time. And what I do is I really like music, and I can't say enough that it's important to get ourselves out of the way. Secure. I hope you found this inspirational. I generally do a mock-up. Kind of reminds me of Bob Ross. Did you know that Bob Ross, when he was hired to do those series, he had to take paintings that took him hours, anywhere from 20 to 30 hours to complete, and condense it so that he could bring it live. It's pretty much my thinking when I come on here is what I could do to help you, to inspire you. And Bob Ross, so he would do that and bring it to his audience. Is pretty much what I'm doing for you. I hope you have this awesome bright color day, and thank you for tuning in with me, and I'll get this up to you. Any comments, please like and share. Put your comments down below. I really appreciate, and we'll see you tomorrow, day 15. Bye-bye for now. Love ya.